Right, so Keir Starmer, he really doesn't learn, does he? As he's again stooped to depravity to electioneer on. Just as he did before, the attack ads are back again. This one, though, possibly the worst one yet. What he's done this time ought to sicken even his most ardent supporters. In such poor taste as this, please do not make excuses for this one. But then, poor taste, this is a guy who permanently looks like he's been sucking lemons or chewing a wasp. Poor taste is probably something he knows a thing or two about. You decide, frankly. So, where are we with this one then, Damo? Well, just as we saw in the run-up to the local elections, where Starmer was running some really rancid attack ads aimed specifically at Rishi Sunak, you may remember them, ads which, as a former human rights lawyer, were just stunningly appalling that this guy was backing them. The worst of which was claiming that Sunak was soft on child sex crimes, which brought widespread condemnation. Starmer doubled down and ran to the Daily Mail, of all people, of course, to tell people to basically stop being squeamish. And he stood by every word that he'd said, that his ads said. He went a lot quieter when it turned out the sentences being passed on such crimes under Sunak that Starmer was being so critical of were passed by the Sentencing Council, of which he sat on and helped make those sentences. Whoops-a-daisy, Keith. Forget that, did you? All in all, though, doesn't seem like something he himself would think up. If I'm wrong, and he did, he hardly needs someone like Peter Mandelson on board to scrape barrel bottoms for ideas for him. But more likely this is pure Mandelson. It gives the feeling he wasn't really the one driving the Labour Party. The Starmer isn't really the one in charge. But now it's happening again. And if you couldn't stomach Starmer accusing Sunak of being pally with child sex offenders a few months ago, well, I challenge you to support this one. Yesterday, the Labour Party dropped a new ad on social media. I spotted it on Twitter, kicking off again against prisoners apparently being able to avoid attendance of their court sentencing. It was also a blatant data harvesting opportunity. Have a look at this. Rishi Sunak has dragged his heels over changing the law to make criminals attend their court sentencing. We believe victims deserve better than this. Agree? Add your name below. And then below, a clickable image taking you through to the data harvesting page. Looked like this. Tell Rishi Sunak no more Lucy Letbys. Make criminals appear in court for sentencing. Nothing quite like using the name of a serial killer of babies and young children to make some political capital out of, is there? Now, I clicked the link for shits and giggles, and it brought me to this page, where it just carries on. Rishi Sunak's Tory government has been dragging its heels over changing the law to make criminals attend their sentencing. If the Tories acted when Labour suggested it in April last year, Lucy Letby would have been forced to appear in court today. Instead, as always, they talked and talked, but did nothing. Victims deserve better than this. Agree? Tell Rishi Sunak today. No more Lucy Letbys. Stop dithering and delaying and make criminals appear in court for sentencing. Victims deserve better. They deserve better than to see a political party make capital out of their family's misery. They deserve better than to have Labour and Starmer and those he surrounded himself actually make false claims over here too, as once again Starmer has put both of his left feet right in it. Lucy Letby, in case you aren't familiar with the story, and for the sake of clarity, it has been a big news story lately. He was a former neonatal nurse charged with attacking 13 infants in her care, killing 7 of them over a 12-month period. It's harrowing stuff. I'm not going to go into it further beyond that, except to say that she got handed 14 life sentences, a whole life order in effect for murder and attempted murder, only the 4th woman to ever receive the maximum possible sentence under British law. She will never see the light of day again, in effect. Yet still, Labour's opportunism and abuse of this case actually comes because she opted not to be present to receive her sentence. It also comes in part due to the ignorance of Tory Secretary of State for Justice Alex Chalk, saying that he'd look at changes to the law to compel the accused to attend sentencing. The thing is, as Starmer really ought to know, and Chalk too, both were lawyers before politics, that if the defendant refuses to attend court, and if the court decides their presence is required, they can be forced to attend. The power to have compelled Letby to attend her sentencing, hear the victim's impact statements, was in the hands of the judge. It was their call. They could have made it. They could have brought forward justification for that. So it's all well and good saying, oh, we'll change the law to make them go. They already can be. Perhaps this is a point of law that would warrant some clarification rather than political opportunism and data harvesting, though, eh? Who provided the clarification for this issue, though? Where did I find the truth of the matter? Well, funnily enough, it comes from the Crown Prosecution Service. As those who use Twitter or X as it's being called now. Website address is still twitter.com though. A recent addition to help debunk falsehoods being spread is community notes, where verified and trustworthy accounts can basically flag up what they think is a fib, provide important context and links to factual information. These have to be reviewed many times behind the scenes by other accounts to check the veracity of the note before it ever gets made public, before any ordinary accounts can see it. So if a Twitter post gets a community note attached to it, it's a pretty good idea that it's chatting a lot of nonsense, because it will have been verified to death before it got posted. The Labour Party official Twitter account, on their data collection post, now has such a note, having been viewed over 39,000 times at the time of writing, and has been published on the basis it cites high-quality sources. In this case, they cite the Crown Prosecution Service's own website, and it reads, "Current CPS guidance on defendants' refusal to attend court permits the prison to use reasonable force to bring a defendant before the court when the court has communicated to the prison that the defendant's attendance is necessary. It is laid out under the Criminal Procedure Rules of 2020. So before somebody asks, no, we can't pin these guidelines on Starmer, but we can absolutely rinse him for his disgusting politicisation of this crime, and people have been doing just that, or rather have been attacking the Labour Party post, of course. Comments on it include, building your email bank on the backs of victims is a bit twisted. Scoring points on this, what the F is wrong with you? I can't believe that even Starmer's Labour would do this. Labour are toxic. Begging you not to use the horrific murder of wee babies as data gathering opportunity. Truly grubby stuff. This is clickbait politics, and doing it off the murder of 7 babies is incredibly tone deaf. Gotta love community notes. Gotta love the Twitter community who will say exactly what they think. And they're right. I can't disagree with any of that. Now, correcting those trying to gain clout from baby murder. There are now literally hundreds of such comments on there now, and quote tweets along these lines. Of course, despite the disgraceful ads running into the local elections, Labour still did well. Not brilliantly, as they pretend. They lost ground as well as gaining it. Largely, they stood still nationwide, in effect. But it's enough that they think such electioneering tactics work. So if this upsets or disgusts you, frankly, don't reward Labour for it. As for the Tories, well, they're back to calling for the death penalty again. Broken records as they are. Neither of these main parties are worth a second glance anymore, so for God's sake, let's try and make this a country to be proud of again and take our votes elsewhere from them. Thanks for watching. I hope you found this video useful. Please like, share and subscribe if you did. More content up daily. Do drop a comment too and have your say on this as well. Meanwhile, here's a vid recommendation where if Labour want to act all high and mighty regarding the well-being of kids, why did they let a local councillor candidate found upon investigation to be in possession of some of the worst examples of child abuse images imaginable still stand in local elections for them? I'll hopefully catch you on the next vid. Cheers, folks.